kuendesha gari. Driving natoa wapi?
Unajua.
Sijui kuendesha gari my friend. Kitu ambaye najua kuendesha zaidi ni basikili.
Ukiona huyo nywele hapo nao lakini akili.
Na wewe sasa hauna nywele kwa hivyo huna akili.
Wewe mwenyewe hauna nywele.
Kwa hivyo hana akili.
Hauna akili hata wewe.
Nini?
Kwani nini? Kama wewe hujui nini mimi nitajuaje? Ni wewe umekuja nacho, niambie ni kitu gani?
Nini?
Nikipoteza chochote chumbani mwangu, nisiulize wale ambao naishi na wao.
Oh, kati ya wale unaishi nao, uko na siri ndio wa kwanza. Hivyo viatu na nguo tunavaa na wewe.
Sikiza nikupe ushauri mdogo. Baada ya kuvuta bangi, hakikisha umekunywa maziwa. Sawa?
Hello, kids.
Hey guys.
Hey, everybody. Are you ready for fun?
Huh?
We have an amazing package just for you. Akili. Ubongo.
Ubongo kids. Ubongo kids.
Big minds.
That is our future. I am who I am.
Travelers.
I can travel to wherever I want.
Robocars. And engine.
No more pollution, you know what I mean.
Oh, those little geniuses.
The Children's Corner. Saturday mornings this holiday season only on KBC. That's right!
I know Njue is a very inconvincible person.
Okay, Kamene. Today, have it your way. I am not going to even correct you. I can't.
I mean, wait. Do you guys still get some beating from your parents? As big as some of you are?
You just know I will leave my mother's house when I am 33 years.
That is the way to go, Kamene. Adulting is not the way we thought. See everything the way we thought. See that easy.
Angalia jumba yako.
Tukate maji.
Good afternoon and a warm welcome. You're just in time for KBC Lunchtime News. My name is Njue. Many thanks for joining us. You can keep this conversation interactive on all our social media platforms as we are live. Straight to the news. We begin from the great county of Lamu, where residents of Mpeketoni in the county are growing increasingly concerned about the looming threat of hunger and water scarcity as delayed rainfall takes a toll on the region. Local farmers say the prolonged dry spell may curtail farming activities during the expected short rain season. Concerns over food production have also risen due to reduced water levels at Lake Kenyatta.
Tuko na wasiwasi sababu tulitegemea kwanza mwaka huu mvua ikuwe mingi na haikukuwa mingi. Na saa hizi kuna hii msimu wa mwezi wa 10 pia tunatarajia mvua inanyesha. Na saa hii tumefika mwezi wa 11 hatujaona mvua. Leki inazidi kukauka, yani inazidi kujivuta, inapungua kina cha maji. Tukilinganisha mali ilikuwa leo, tukirudi kesho kutwa kuna watu 3-4 zimepungua.
So we want them to articulate issues on how they can actively engage in climate change action and to ensure that they mitigate the effects of climate change.
In other news, the warring factions in South Sudan have agreed to resume mediation in Nairobi to resolve the year-long conflict. The agreement was reached during a high-level bilateral meeting under the Tumaini Initiative peace process in Juba between President William Ruto and his counterpart President Salva Kiir. First Vice President Riek Mashara was also present.
In press conference by South Sudan's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Chola Juang, and National Security Advisor to President William Ruto, Monica Juma, it was revealed that the meeting had reached an agreement on 9 protocols. To finalize the mediation process, the two heads of state directed the mediation team to reconvene in Nairobi and resolve outstanding issues within 2 weeks.
His Excellency, President of the Republic of Kenya, was honored to host a negotiation between the Artigono and Whole South Group to the Access Peace Agreement.
The heads of state agreed to secure regional endorsement of the Tumaini Initiative and to urge IGAD to mobilize resources and goodwill of the international community, including the Troika and other countries, to enable full implementation of the initiative.
President Ruto said it was encouraging to see that the gaps between the government and the warring factions, including the political players in opposition in southern Sudan, could be bridged, ending half a decade-long armed conflict and pave the way for sustainable peace.
The two heads of states commended the constructive dialogue among the diverse parties to initiate towards a tangible outcome.
On bilateral relations, they lauded the strong historical ties between Kenya and South Sudan and committed to bolstering it.
On infrastructure, and particularly the construction of the 11-kilometer Nandapal to Nakadok Road, the two heads of state noted that it is a vital cross-border infrastructure, crucial for enhancing trade and movement between our two countries. The road will not only benefit our economies, but also strengthen the ties between our two countries.
Giverson Minor, Lunchtime News.
Kajiado County Assembly's Finance Committee has urged the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission and the Directorate of Criminal Investigations to investigate the alleged embezzlement of public funds in the region. Speaking during a public forum in Ngong, the committee expressed frustrations over uncompleted projects marked as complete in county reports, with payments reportedly issued to briefcase contractors. They are calling on Governor Joseph Olelenku to review all projects funded under his administration, demanding accountability and prosecution for those responsible.
Projects kama zilivyo, kama haijafanyika na imelipwa, ule alifanya hiyo kazi achukue msalaba wake. Wale ambao hawafanyi kazi kulingana na maadili ya sheria, sisi tunaongozwa na katiba ya Kenya, County Governments Act na pia PFMA Act na pia standing orders zetu za County Assembly. Kama hazifuatiliwi vizuri, sisi tukiona gaps pale, tuta make sure ya kwamba sheria inafuatwa kwa mkondo wake hadi mwisho, ili wananchi wetu waweze kufurahia.
Wananchi wanalalamika, they are not happy. They are willing to pay their taxes, but they are not getting services resonating to the taxes that they are paying. Kaunti yetu, governor anahitaji sasa kufika na crack whip katika departments, kwa sababu tumesikitika sana.
In other news, a section of non-governmental organizations in Mandera County is spearheading a peace-building mission to address the long-standing intercommunal conflicts within the county. Young Africans for Peace and Development YAPAD project coordinator Mohamed Noor thanked stakeholders for their collaboration, emphasizing the collective commitment towards promoting peace. Hussein Yusuf from Mandera County Department of Cohesion and Conflict Management lauded the efforts of NGOs, noting their vital role in achieving long-lasting peace.
Kuleta maslaha, tunaleta maslaha muda kidogo, tena tunapata changamoto ya kuwa kuna tatizo fulani mahali fulani. Sisi kama YAPAD tumejaribu mara mingi kuleta kina mama pamoja, vijana pamoja, wazee pamoja. Tunawaleta professionals, opinion shapers, local administrators na government pamoja, ili tuweze kupata suluhisho ya kudumu.
Tumejaribu kuaddress maneno zote ili hii shida iweze kueleweka na isiweze kusambaratika katika hizo maeneo. Tumeshukuru sana hao wafadhili wametusaidia.
And 5 counties bordering Lake Victoria have been selected for a mass drug administration to combat bilharzia and intestinal worms. According to Dr. Maurice Odiere, a research scientist at the Kenya Medical Research Institute, KEMRI, Migori, Homa Bay, Kisumu, Siaya and Busia counties have been prioritized due to poor sanitation within their fishing communities. In Migori County, the campaign will target 6 of the 8 sub-counties with an aim of raising awareness. According to Migori County Non-Communicable Disease Coordinator Nicholas Makworo, various interventions have been implemented aimed at eliminating bilharzia and intestinal worms disease by 2030, in line with the World Health Organization's global health policy.
Intending to carry out mass drug administration, targeting virtually all the sub-counties of Migori, except this Kuria East, where the preference is low, didn't meet the WHO threshold. And in Migori, we are having Nyatike as the leading, with a preference of 37%, followed by Suna West, 36%, and then Suna East, with around 18%. We are having Muhuru leading in terms of preference at around 78%.
One is trying to increase the therapeutic and geographic coverage so that we can provide medicines to a larger number of individuals and make sure all the implementation units are covered. And then the second strategy is to also include partnerships with the water, sanitation and hygiene players. And then of course the third one is to mainstream behavior change and communication.
Elsewhere, police in Kiserian Kajiado North Sub-County, Kajiado County, are holding 2 suspects linked to the gruesome murder of a 30-year-old woman. The mutilated body of Rose Sohila, who is believed to have been killed in her house on Saturday night, was recovered in a plantation near her house on Sunday morning. A post-mortem has revealed that the deceased, who had injuries on their forehead and arms, died after her throat was slit. The killer weapon was recovered, and her relatives are urging the security agencies to expedite the investigations into her murder.
Nikaingia hapa, nikaangalia kwa dirisha, nikaona damu. Kutoka hapo nikaona watu mahali mwili iko. Nikaenda on the way, nikienda hapo nikaona kisu. Kisu ilikuwa very sharp.
We can't tell the cause of the murder, but investigations are being done. The people were suspected to have done it, and they have already recorded statements.
Kichwa yenyewe haina hii nyama yote, hii ngozi yote ya uso. Ni kama imechinjwa yote. Imechinjwa hii ya uso na nywele pia ikachinjwa. So yote ilikuwa skull peke yake. Pia hakuwa na macho na ulimi.
Kuna wasiwasi kabisa chungu mzima. Kwa sababu mama tumekuwa tukiuliwa, mambo inapuuzwa.
And away from that, the Teacher Service Commission is set to commence the retooling of 70,000 teachers from public, private and special needs schools in preparations for the transition of the first cohort of the competency-based curriculum to grade 9 in January of 2029.
Addressing more than 15,000 head teachers in Mombasa County on the 3rd day of the Kenya Primary Schools Head Teachers Association Conference, Teachers Service Commission Chief Executive She assured teachers that more will be promoted in the current financial year before schools open for the first term in the next academic year.
Already the Commission has retooled 60,642 grade 7 and grade 8 teachers in 2023 early this year.
National Assembly Departmental Committee on Education, Research and Technology Chairperson Julius Melly rooted for digital learning in schools leveraging internet connectivity and urged teachers to be tech savvy.
Teacher Service Commissioner is doing what we call live stream learning, where teachers are supposed to be techno savvy in schools and they're able to relay the same information to their neighboring schools.
Kenya National Union of Teachers Secretary General Colin Soyu called for special preference in the promotion of head teachers to principals of comprehensive schools.
Our proposal as Kenya National Union of Teachers, these heads should be referred to as principals of comprehensive schools. Given the fact that even their roles have changed, they are doing a lot of financial management, the responsibilities are now widened.
For Lunchtime News, I'm Christine Matunda.
And that's the first cohort of CBC Grade 9, the year 2025. That's next year. And still on education, the State Department for Technical, Vocational Education and Training has started incorporating green skills into the curriculum in a bid to foster resilience against climate change. Principal Secretary for TVET, Dr. Esther Moria, announced the initiative emphasizing the government's dedication to implementing the new model through relevant agencies. Moria urged TVET trainers to move away from traditional lecture-based teaching and reduce paperwork, aligning with the broader goal of climate change resilience.
What we are doing here is training the trainers in competency-based assessment. It is not just sitting down in a large classroom and writing examination. No. We have to have what, for example, we call the portfolio of evidence, which is being able to store, to have in place what the students have been doing across the training. So that at the end of the day, what we want to see is this young person able to do what we say that they have been able to do?
And Kiambu County Government, in collaboration with the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, KICD, has initiated a training program to ensure that all early childhood development education ECDE teachers who are employed without diploma certificates are enrolled in diploma courses. Kiambu County Governor Kimani Wamatangi said full sponsored training will ensure that the 1,538 teachers in 524 ECDE centers in the region have the needed skills and knowledge. Wamatangi said 250 more ECDE teachers will be hired in January next year.
Ladies and gentlemen, as part of our comprehensive approach to education, we recognize the importance of teacher qualifications in achieving excellence, and that is why we are committed to equipping all our ECD teachers with the necessary credentials. Starting this month, teachers who joined our ECD program without a diploma will be enrolled in diploma courses fully sponsored by the county.
And still on education, this year's Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education Examinations, KCSE, entered the fourth day Thursday with the candidates writing the Kiswahili language paper in the morning. In the afternoon, the students will sit their Kiswahili composition paper. Speaking while distributing the examinations in Githunguri, Kiambu County, Githunguri Sub-County Director of Education Nancy Kihara observed that examinations within Githunguri Sub-County were going on well, adding that the area has enjoyed good security without any incidents reported. She, however, cited an incident where a 17-year-old candidate who delivered a healthy baby girl just moments before she was due to sit for her chemistry paper yesterday. Kihara said the candidate had been missing from school since registering for the KCSE examinations, only to appear at the examination room just in time to sit for the chemistry paper. However, she was soon overcome by labor pains shortly and was rushed to Githunguri Level 4 Hospital, where she delivered the baby.
have had a smooth running for the last 3 days. Today is the 4th day. It is only yesterday we had one of our candidates who was expectant. She was admitted in one of our hospitals in Githunguri, and she delivered a baby girl. And she sat for her exam in hospital, but fortunately she was discharged in the evening, and she will sit for her exam in her center.
And on matters training, the Taita Taveta University has organized training for small-scale and artisanal miners drawn from Kakamega and Vihiga counties to build capacity to benefit from the enterprise. The training focuses on safety measures, proper use of equipment during mining, how to make maximum benefit from gold mining, environmental consciousness and welfare. The Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of academics, training and outreach programs at the university, Professor Christine Onyango, said most artisanal miners lack skills, thus exposing them to mining disasters, causing accidents and death.
Lives around the passion they have for mining. Whatever they are mining, we want to help them, whether it's value addition, getting the right markets, building the right skills, and especially in financial, good financial understanding, investment, livelihood development, and things like that. So we have been doing this a lot with the miners in the coastal region. And it was a high time, especially because we have many disasters in this region that have caused loss of life. And we thought it is good because this is another mining region in this country.
And a family in Narok is appealing for help to locate their 34-year-old relative, Stephen Mashara, who went missing on October the 16th after escaping from Valley of Hope Rehab Center in Ruiru. The family spokesperson, Elijah Muremi, said they have searched morgues in Thika and Nairobi without success, with his last sighting reported at a matatu stage in Ruiru. Mashara, who has a mental health condition, speaks English and Kiswahili. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is urged to contact the family via this number, that is 0722 945 771 or 0728 501048 or the nearest police station.
Tumeweza kupoteza kijana wa ndugu yangu, alipotea Roiro tarehe 16 mwezi uliopita. Tumejaribu kumtafuta sehemu ya Roiro, Githurai na hata Juja na hata sehemu mbalimbali. Tumejaribu kumtafuta hata mochari zote mbili za Thika na pamoja na za Nairobi City mochari, na tujaweza kumpata. Tukiomba mtu yote ambaye anaweza kuwa amemuona, tunaomba watusaidie kupitia hii picha yake tuweze kumpata.
Let's now tilt the lens and focus on matters security, where a suspected thief in Kericho has astonished locals after returning a stolen motorbike followed by a swarm of bees. The middle-aged man surrendered the motorbike to his owner before presenting himself to a local police station. Local resident led by Jairus Keiro expressed surprise at the thief's unusual act of repentance, saying this will serve as a big lesson to other thieves. They claim the area has been witnessing increased cases of motorcycle theft, urging security officers to scale up crackdown on criminal elements within the area.
Na mtu fulani ametokeza mahali akafika kwa alam, kaona akisukuma bodaboda akitumia kusukuma sio kuendesha, na kwa sababu hiyo alikuwa amebeba nyuki kwa kichwa yake.
Lazima tukomeshe uwizi na kila mtu afanye kazi kwa mikono yake.
Hujui kitu mtu alifanya ndo akapata hiyo kitu. So that is something I don't really tolerate such a thing.
And away from that, health stakeholders in Turkana County have called on the national government to urgently intervene in the fight against Kala-Azar disease, which has become prevalent in the region. Led by Director of Health Services at Lodwar Referral Hospital, Dr. Joseph Epem, the stakeholder said the high cost of treating the disease has left out many locals and therefore undermined effective control. Additionally, the residents have been encouraged to visit healthcare facilities for diagnosis in an effort to curb the spread of the infection.
Tunaona ongezeko kwa ajili ya mabadiliko nchi sana sana wakati wa mvua. Wale sandfly wanatoka katika ile antilles ama katika sehemu hizi za mashamba ama mahali pale ambapo wafugaji wako. Tunaona sana sana katika wafugaji ambao wanaishi katika sehemu za mipaka na sehemu hizi za misitu, hasa vijana. Mwaka huu mpaka sasa katika kuota hii ya juzi hii tumeona ya kwamba tumekuwa na mpaka sasa tuko na cases karibu 124.
Ukifikia kabla ijaendelea sana hautapona, lakini ukifikia kabla jenini kwa mwili ndio mtoto atapona, haina shida. Hata sasa vile wangu sasa vile yako anaendelea mzuri.
Need cross border collaboration because this disease affects Kenya, Uganda, South Sudan and Ethiopia. So even if we are able to control the disease on our side and active transmission is still happening on the other side of the borders, we will still have cross infections.
To our weekly segment now, cinemas and theaters, and with 16 countries and 45 theatrical shows on the roster, this year's the Nairobi theater scene has been ignited in a big way by the 9th edition of the Kenya International Theatre Festival that opened Tuesday at the Kenya National Theatre. The festival is a collaborative effort between the Kenya International Theatre Festival Trust and the Kenya Cultural Center. This week on Cinemas and Theatre, we delve into this festival, which brings together performers and audiences from across the globe to celebrate the power of theatre in inspiring change. Take a look.
The 9th edition of the Kenya International Theatre Festival launched in grand style at the Kenya National Theatre, promising 2 weeks of inspiring performances, cultural exchange and creative exploration. These traditional Kenyan dancers, dressed in colorful attire and backed by rhythmic drums, set the stage for the cultural festivities. Their energetic performances and infectious beats drew applause from festival goers, heightening anticipation for the evening's main events. Inside the theatre, the evening continued with mesmerizing performances that showcased the rich tapestry of global cultures. Audiences were transported from different corners of the world as they enjoyed intricate and graceful dance pieces from India, showcasing classical techniques and storytelling through dance. From Switzerland, dancers brought a unique fusion of traditional and contemporary movements, blending Swiss folklore with modern interpretations that captivated and thrilled the audience. The theme of the festival is embracing diversity, inspiring change, theatre as a catalyst for social transformation. With over 16 countries and 45 theatrical shows on the roster, this year's festival promises an extraordinary celebration of global artistry.
Over the years, KidFest has been growing over and over again. Now there is more participation of Kenyan theatre practitioners, and mostly from groups outside the city. So I would say in the 9th edition we are having almost 20 local participating theatre groups. and a total of 16 countries.
But how does the festival select and curate international performances?
At the beginning of the year, we normally send out a call internationally using our partners, our network, social media, foreign embassies, and we advertise for anybody who wants to come and perform at KitFest to apply. So they apply. By around May, we normally have guys who have applied. This year we had over 100 applications, and then we do the shortlisting. So the shortlisting is based on the different genres. Maybe you have a unique dance, you have unique puppetry, so we try to do a balance so that we have all forms of creative expression being represented here. We also try to do a balance between the continents and the country, so that at least we have a country from South America, from Asia, from Europe, from North America, and so on and so forth.
This year's festival also builds on the Kenya International Theatre Festival Trust dedication to nurturing local talent through its capacity building program and County Theatre Fiesta. These programs, which include Sauti za Boma, provide mentoring and showcase opportunities for theatre companies from counties outside Nairobi.
We expose them to the very best that is happening in Europe. We expose them to the very best happening in South America, North America, Asia. We introduce them to new trends, and most importantly, we have them collaborate and network. For instance, from one of our partnerships last year, one of the teams that performed from the Czech Republic, this year we were able to take Kenyan artists to the Czech Republic, where they stayed for a 2-month residency and were able to perform in Prague for the Czech community. So what is that doing? That is exposing the international community to Kenyan theatre as well.
KitFest continues to be a significant platform for celebrating the power of theatre in addressing societal issues and promoting global understanding. The festival serves as a testament to Kenya's growing reputation as a hub for creativity and artistic expression on the international stage. Jacqueline Mashara for Cinemas and Theatre.
Very well, and that interesting piece by my colleague Jackie Mashara. We take a quick break, but when we come back on the other side of the break, we still have business, and later on I'll be telling you the latest from the world of sports, and especially the Champions League.
Enjoy na GoTV. Beste yako wafuta. Tuna connect na ligi zote. Jishikie GoTV leo ujinice na the best futa live on SuperSport. GoTV. Love it.
Say bye-bye to FOMO, the fear of missing out, by downloading the KBC Online app that gives you access to everything you love. Get the latest news, sports, music, entertainment news, live TV, live radio, and so much more at the palm of your hands. To get the app, simply search KBC Mobile Digital App in your Google Play or App Store and download the app. Catch what you want, anytime, anywhere. Stay connected. Stay ahead with KBC Mobile Digital App.
Nini? Kwani nini? Kama wewe hujui nini mimi nitajuaje? Ni wewe umekuja nacho, niambie ni kitu gani?
Nini? Nikipoteza chochote chumbani mwangu, nisiulize wale ambao naishi na wao.
Oh, kati ya wale unaishi nao, uko na siri ndio wa kwanza. Hivyo viatu na nguo tunavaa na wewe.
Sikiza nikupe ushauri mdogo. Baada ya kuvuta bangi, hakikisha umekunywa maziwa. Sawa? Toka. Kuna nini hapa?
Welcome back and many thanks for keeping it Channel 1. Let's make sense of shillings and cents in business, and Kenyans will now be able to export their products to DRC, South Sudan and also Zambia because of the ease following the rollout of the operational phase of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. That function is currently underway, which is being presided over by the corporate's CES, Wycliffe Oparanya. Let's listen in.
Zambia, under this initiative, let us take a moment to reflect on what this represents. Today, we are not only sending products across our borders, but we are also sending a strong message to our nation's commitment to regional cooperation, to supporting our SME, our local industries, and to building a sustainable and inclusive economic future. This flagging off ceremony is a testament to our commitment to providing the necessary infrastructure, trade facilitation, and support services to ensure our SMEs can thrive in regional markets. We will continue working in close collaboration with our development partners, private sector, and all relevant stakeholders to reduce logistical bottlenecks, streamline regulatory processes, and foster an environment where businesses can grow, compete, and contribute to regional economy. This shipment symbolizes our commitment to the principle of Africa economic integration. By embracing open and efficient trade routes, we are laying the groundwork for a future where African nations lead in solving Africa challenges and creating African opportunities. The economic potential we unlock together will benefit not only our countries, but also contribute to the larger vision of self-reliant, prosperous Africa. Consequently, Africa must produce what it can consume and consume what it produces. This is how we will spur intra-Africa trade to achieve the aspiration of the Agenda 2063. Ladies and gentlemen, as a pillar upon which our bottom-up economic transformation agenda is anchored, MSMEs shall benefit greatly from this initiative and facilitate the realization of our all-inclusive, leave no one behind vision. With a constitutional of over 98% of all businesses in Kenya, creation of over 80% of jobs, and approximately 30% of our GDP, the role of MSMEs in our economic development equation cannot be overemphasized. The huge part that sees over 1 million young Kenyans join the workforce every year has made it necessary to internationally invest in end-to-end interventions that stimulate the demonstration of young people in cross-border trade. As a government, we have prioritized initiatives to support the growth of our MSMEs, helping them to overcome barriers and meet export standards. We understand that our economy to thrive, our local business must have access to diverse and expansive markets. In this regard, both the Ministry of Cooperatives and MSMEs Development, as well as Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, have been leading government efforts in engaging stakeholders with a view to receiving proposals that will inform both legislative reforms and administrative intervention to continue creating the right business environment for our businesses and investors in Kenya. Notably, the Cabinet Secretary for Cooperatives and MSMEs Development, through the State Department of MSMEs Development, has initiated an MSMEs Roundtable, a private sector-led multi-sectoral forum to address issues affecting MSMEs in Kenya, with a view to developing a mechanism for consultating the various MSMEs sector interventions for maximum impact. Ladies and gentlemen, as an active proponent of the African Continental Free Trade Area, I wish to reiterate that Kenya is strongly committed to exploiting the full potential of value addition and unlocking the opportunities available within African Continental Free Trade Area framework. To this end, we will continue to implement interventions that enhance the diversification of our economy to unleash the full force of our manufacturing sector. The private sector in Kenya has shown great enthusiasm in taking up the opportunities under the African Continental Free Trade Area, and this flag off today is a clear testimony. Before I conclude, I want to call upon all sector stakeholders to follow suit and invest in interventions that are geared towards the enhancement of the sustainability and competitiveness of MSMEs, which are our only sure path of tackling the youth badge, managed through creation of employers with the eventual journey towards accelerated employment creation and national development. Thank you very much for coming today. God bless Kenya. God bless you who are here.
Speaking there is Cooperative CS Wycliffe Oparanya there at the Flag of the Trade Connect initiative that is actualizing Kenyans to export their products, and especially to three countries, namely South Sudan, Zambia, and also the DR Congo. And they can, as he has mentioned, that the population of the three countries make it ideal for Kenyans to expose their products. DRC over 100 million, we're talking about Zambia over 20 million, and talking about South Sudan that has a population of about 12 million shillings. My colleague Frederick Moki is on that bit, and he will be bringing us a more comprehensive report on that, including on how to circumvent the trade barriers that have been there initially. Moving on, Kenyans have borrowed close to 60 billion shillings from the Financial Inclusion Fund, commonly known as the Hustler Fund, that is marking its second anniversary. Micro, small and medium-sized enterprises Principal Secretary Susan Mangeni says 24.5 million Kenyans have benefited from the Hustler Fund and saved about 3.2 billion shillings. Mangeni says plans are underway to roll out the MSMEs product to de-risk the businesses and startup loan product to support the youth in the tech space.
For them to determine whether they can lend to you, they need to look at your file. And your file, you must have credit history. But you find, since most of these people are young people, are women, and they don't have formal jobs or formal source of income, and some of them, the kind of businesses they do it in a very informal way, so there is no trace. There are no footprints of their banking records, or there are no footprints of the financial record or credit records. So what do we do then? We say we will help these people first and foremost to establish their credit profile. So by giving them access to this credit, and the more they borrow and repay and interact, with the product, what happens, they will leave the data footprints, which will go into building their file and making their file become more enlarged. And this is what the mainstream financing institution always wants to see.
Safaricom last reported a
Safaricom has reported the fast decline in profit in 4 years as depreciation of the birr and hyperinflation in Ethiopia ate into earnings from the Kenyan unit. Safaricom has reported a 17.7% reduction in first half net profit to 28.1 billion shillings and revised up by a year to 2027 when it's expected the Ethiopian subsidiary to break even.
Decline in net profit in November 2020. The telco attributed the 6% decline then to the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. 4 years later, the telco is reporting a 17.7% reduction in first half net profit. This time round, Safaricom attributes it to hyperinflation and heavy currency depreciation in Ethiopia that it says has eaten into earnings from the Kenyan unit.
Due to the uncertainty of what rate we will have at the end of the year, we are guiding that any 10 percentage points change in terms of currency depreciation would result to about 8 billion shillings equivalent in terms of balance sheet impact and therefore the P&L impact.
The telco says the impact of the economic situation is likely to persist longer than it had anticipated and is projecting that the Ethiopian subsidiary is unlikely to break even earlier than the year 2027.
On an underlying basis, our business is absolutely fantastic. Real, solid momentum in Kenya and very, very strong underlying performance in Ethiopia. One of the things that probably I and Dilip didn't mention, when you look at the network that we have created, and we mentioned this at half year, or at full year last year, is now about half, equivalent to about half of what we have in Kenya. So in 2.5, 3 years, equivalent to about half of what we have in Kenya. So in 2.5, 3 years.
Apologies for that technical hitch in that last bit, but he was talking about in the next 2-3 years, the company in Ethiopia, that is Safaricom, will start to break even. In other news, micro, small and medium-sized entrepreneurs should leverage government resources to access affordable funding, training and mentorship to build resilient and competitive enterprises amid a rapidly evolving market. Micro, small and medium-sized entrepreneurs and manufacturers are being urged to tap low-cost credit and workspace facilities by various government institutions to support small businesses.
Micro, small and medium enterprises in Kenya struggle to make it past their 5th birthday due to challenges such as access to relevant information about available government support and tools that could help them overcome financial and operational hurdles.
We offer them support in a wide range of areas. Number one, we allow them to come for training in the institution. The training which we offer to these MSMEs has got nothing to do with academic papers. What we want is basically passion and the interest to learn a certain technology. Once we've done this training, we also offer these MSMEs incubation facilities. We also realize that many of these small-scale entrepreneurs do not have the financial muscle to actually acquire the equipment. Therefore, at Kirdi, we allow them to come, use our equipment as they test the market.
As an entrepreneur, we had to go to Kirdi first so that you can be taught on how exactly to formulate our products right. Going through the training, the capacity building, also testing our products right, readiness for the market, and also being supported generally by government.
The Kenya Industrial Estates and the Kenya Industrial Research and Development Institute are part of government agencies showcasing at the ongoing Kenya Industrial Conference. They are calling for entrepreneurs to take advantage of the public facilities in making quality products.
This is an agency which has actually been created by government, or which was put in place by government to support SMEs. And so we'll call upon them, those who are in business, those who are in manufacturing, value addition, to know that there is an agency which is purposely there for them. We provide credit or finance to SMEs so that they can be able to purchase equipment, they can be able to expand, they can procure working capital.
Trevor Njue for Lunchtime News.
There's need to build effective financing mechanism beyond traditional funding models to drive progress. African Venture Philanthropy Alliance CEO Dr. Frank Aswani says new global trends such as climate adaptation, financing, gender lens investing, and the integration of artificial intelligence AI in social impact projects are key in unlocking domestic and international private capital for social investments. He said this ahead of the 2024 AVPA conference that is expected to highlight Africa's potential and the use of catalytic capital to drive sustainable growth.
Our people deserve better and are counting on us to chart a different and sustainable growth path for the continent. What we can't afford is the price of inaction or doing the same things and expecting a different outcome. The stakes are high, but so are the investment opportunities available to us in sustainable investments that will solve for human and planet needs.
We're all here because we share a common goal: to mobilize capital and resources that will power Africa's sustainable future. It is our collective determination that will transform this continent and turn bold ideas into scalable solutions.
MEDA resonates with AVPA's philosophy, and in particular the conference theme, catalyzing Africa's sustainable growth. Africa's growth through enterprises and jobs will not continue to happen using traditional approaches. If we continue to do this, we will not make progress as Africa.
Now, discrepancies between physical size of land and property and representation in official documents such as title deeds is among challenges facing the land acquisition process, resulting in delays, disputes, and drives up the cost. To remedy this, the Institution of Surveyors President ISK, Eric Nyadimo, wants the government to implement the Survey Amendment 2024 regulations to streamline the survey niche.
These documents are still with the Ministry of Lands. They have not been advanced beyond the Ministry of Lands, and there is need for us to be able to get these documents, especially the bills, to be enacted and the survey policy to be in place, because through these documents we were able to look at the entire spectrum of survey and mapping and analyzed all the issues related to survey and mapping, and came up with a bill that provides for a proper relationship between the national government and the county governments, and also in terms of increasing the professionalism for the surveyors, talking about the requirement for registration and the requirements for licensing.
We're working well with the Ministry of Land and the National Land Commission to ensure that disputes are minimal. We're even setting up laws to ensure that we settle the squatters and the investors who have invested to buy in land, so that they don't get losses.
We are working closely with various stakeholders, including professionals in your sector, to ensure that all developments, whether in urban centers or rural regions, are climate resilient and environmentally sound.
Further afield, Australia plans to introduce a legislation to ban children under 16 years from social media. Australia Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says the proposed laws to be tabled in Parliament next week were aimed at mitigating the harm social media was inflicting on Australian children. Here are the details of this and other stories making headlines from other parts of the world.
The details are yet to be debated. Australia's government said the ban will not apply to young people already on social media. There will be no exemptions on the age limit for children who have consent from their parents. Australia says the owners will be on social media platforms to show they are taking responsible steps to prevent access. The legislation would come into force 12 months after it passes and be subject to review. While most experts agree that social media platforms can harm the mental health of adolescents, many are split over the efficacy of trying to outlaw them altogether. Some experts argue that bans only delay young people's exposure to apps such as TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, instead of teaching them how to navigate complex online spaces. Meanwhile, India's fuel demand rose 2.9% in October, as sales of gasoline or petrol were 8.6% higher than a year earlier at 3.41 million tons. Diesel consumption was up 0.1% and totaled 7.64 million tons in October. Cooking gas or liquefied petroleum gas sales increased 9.3% to 2.73 million tons, while naphtha sales fell 1.1% to 1.18 million tons. Sales of bitumen used for making roads were 7.2% lower, while fuel oil rose 23.4% in October. Finally, Ivory Coast, which is the world's largest cocoa producer and exporter, is exploring ways to change the traditional economic model of exporting raw cocoa beans and achieve industrial upgrading. An industrial park in the outskirts of Abidjan is set to be completed by the end of this year. The project will largely enhance the cocoa processing capacity of Ivory Coast and help the country train more skilled workers to promote the sustainable development of the cocoa industry. Ivory Coast produces over 2 million tons of cocoa beans annually, accounting for 40% of the world's total production. About 8 million people in the country work in the cocoa and relevant industries. Winslow Spamba for Lunchtime News.
Let's get sporty. The 11th edition of the Kenya Inter-County Sports and Cultural Association Games will feature women's football for the first time, with 5 teams having already registered for the tournament. This was revealed during the chain handing over ceremony to the new patron of the KISA Games, the governor of Kakamega County, Fernandez Barasa, who assured the governing council of his full support to make the event a success. The games, which are scheduled to start on the 23rd to the 30th of this month in Mumias, will involve various ball games, athletics, racket sports, and tug of war, with teams drawn from all the 47 counties and municipalities. Nairobi County won the overall title in the previous edition of the KISA Games, with Kisumu and Mombasa taking the runners-up positions.
But here, we are not going to let you down. We'll do everything possible to make sure that you have a very exciting tournament, and of course, we'll make sure that you have unforgettable.
Our new patron, Honorable FCPA Fernandez Barasa, OGW, Governor of Kakamega County. On behalf of the Council of Governors and as the Chairperson of Gender, Youth, Sports, Culture and Social Services, I want to extend my sincere congratulations to you, my brother, Governor Barasa, on this significant milestone.
The Junior Starlets' achievement in the 2024 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup has inspired a girls' football team in Baringo to aspire for greatness. Baringo 030 Starlets was established 2 years ago and is the only girls' football club representing the region, hoping to make it to Division 1 in the near future and eventually to the FKF Women's Premier League. Coach Douglas Kiplagat said they have made significant strides since its formation, while also helping the girls steer away from harmful practices and social pressures.
Maeneo saba sub-counties za Baringo County na wengi wao ni wanafunzi wa shule ya upili, college, na wengine ni wenye wametoka kumaliza shule, na lengo letu ni kukuza talanta katika fani ya soka.
So ndo tukaamua kuanza hii team ndio tusaidie wasichana wetu. At least ukijiunga na team una avoid mambo mingi sana. Though the moment tunaendelea na zoezi pia tuko na changamoto kama kukosa balls, saa zingine ground ya kutrain ama maybe tuko na game, and we are the only team in Baringo sai yenye inacheza hiyo ligi ya regionals.
Very well, and on that sporty note, we come to the end of this live newscast. But a quick one: Arsenal was beaten by Inter Milan last night, while PSG were beaten by Atletico de Madrid. Barcelona thrashed Red Star Belgrade 5-2 as Bayern Munich beat Benfica from Portugal by a lone goal. My name is Njue. Brian Muraru has been my colleague on the sign language interpretation. Thank you so much for joining us. More news in our subsequent bulletin, but for now, have a good one.
Everybody needs Jesus, no matter their social status and no matter the image they portray.
I started hearing, I was going through this depressive season, and I started hearing voices that were oppressing me, very dark voices, telling me to do dark things. This life chose me. So I didn't choose God, He chose me. He left the 99 for the one, just like Jesus says. I saw this very white, blinding light.